This is never before seen video footage. It comes from one of the U.S. Capitol cameras that were pointed at the Democratic National Committee, which is about a block away from the U.S. Capitol. And we're going to show you a sequence. It starts with the alleged pipe bomber on the night before January 6th going and planting a bomb near the Democratic National Committee. And when you're done, you're going to see an extraordinary security failure from an agency that we assume doesn't make these type of mistakes. Let's start to roll the tape and I'll walk you through it. All right, this is the night before January 6th. This is the alleged bomber sitting on a park bench outside the DNC and pulling out an explosive device. He's looking around, even at the camera, it looks like, and getting this device out, and he's going to bend down, and right there, he's going to plant it by that bench and that bush. That is about 17 hours before it's discovered, about 16 hours before, and then that sips down, forgot something there, better go check it out. All right. Now I'm going to get up in a second here and get out of Dodge. Now we want to give you the long look. Look at that driveway behind that park bench. That's going to be important to you in a second, okay? Well, what you see is now that person's sitting on the bench. They're pulling out the package. You can see the long lens, but it's very close to the parking garage structure, somewhere between 8 and 10 yards from that driveway is what we believe. And that's going to become important in a second, but there's that bomber. It's remarkable that with all this camera footage and cell phone technology, we still don't know 900 days later who that person is. And earlier, in earlier footage the FBI released, there's a moment where the bomber appears to go on a cell phone. Still, we don't have it. Now, this is what the bomb looked like, sitting right at a bush in plain view. We want you to see it here because I think you'll get a good, strong sense of this was not something you would walk by and miss. Look at that. Kitchen timer, explosive pipe bomb there, sitting right where the bench and the bushes were there. Now, that's pretty easy to detect. In fact, a civilian ultimately found it and brought it to law enforcement's attention. But let's take a look here. This is the next morning. The soon-to-be Vice President, Kamala Harris, pulls in that driveway. Remember I told you that driveway. There it is. The park benches are to the right where those cars are going by. There's the Secret Service. There's the entourage. That's the soon-to-be Vice President, 14 days away from assuming office, protected by the Secret Service. They're driving her right by that bomb for quite some time. Look, she stays in the building for about an hour. Nobody in the Secret Service detail actually noticed that bomb. They don't really sweep the area. Now, we've been asked by the Secret Service not to show the sweeping procedures, but they went right by the bomb, just so you know. And then they sit there. They're in the car. They're watching it. It's really remarkable. This is what the site looks like today. We went back to the site. Our good correspondent, Nick Ballasy. That's it today. Something's missing. They got rid of those park benches. There's the driveway, but you get a sense of just how close Kamala Harris came to an explosive device. Pretty remarkable stuff. That's what it looks like today. Amanda, I want to bring you in right now. We assume the Secret Service are the best of the best. The last few weeks have been a difficult time for them. They can't solve a basic cocaine caper in the Biden White House, and now we see for the first time they drove by a explosive device with the future vice president. Their sweep didn't catch it, and you saw how obvious it was.
Yeah, well, you know, what sticks out to me about this and everything that occurred on January 6th is that where there was needed high security, there wasn't. And where there wasn't needed security, there was a very high level of it. You know, when you look at this footage and the footage of what it looks like now, and Kamala Harris being right there and the sweep happening, I just think, you know, I would never hope to be in the mind of a bomber, but you just look at like what happened, even Boston bomber and any type of bombing. If the detonation is not to happen for many, many hours later, say 17 hours later or something like that, then you would hide it. You wouldn't just have it sitting there. It was very obvious. It was right there by that bench. There are just so many questions I have about all of this, and this is something that we're going to talk about with some of our guests. The fact that the FBI, you know, when it came to finding alleged perpetrators from January 6th, people who breached the barrier at the Capitol, they were tweeting out pictures of these people, tweeting out pictures of grandma, going to, you know, the ends of the earth to try to find these folks. But then when it came to this, they just seemed, you know, they did post a YouTube video a few years ago with the caption, "Help us find this person." Yeah. But this person, as people can see in the video, had on a hood and a mask. So that's going to be pretty hard. But, you know, something that I know that you plan on bringing up with our guests, the fact that the person who found it, they didn't have many questions for that person.
They let him go. They let them go.
Yeah.
The Secret Service gets alerted. They're sitting in their car. We believe they're eating lunch or talking, and a civilian comes up and alerts them to it, and they don't detain the civilian. They don't even take their name. So off the civilian runs. But here's a more amazing thing about this. And let's talk about the explosive. Steve D'Antonio, who was the assistant director of the FBI for the Washington field office, who ran this investigation, said it had live explosives, but the timer did not trigger it. So it looks like it was a diversionary tactic, but it had very real payload that could have injured people had it gone off. When they went to go get the cell phone data to find that bomber, remarkably, the telephone companies say something happened to the data. It got corrupted, so we can't help you track that cell phone. There are so many questions about what happened on these two episodes. The FBI solves all crimes like this. I mean, when they have video footage that good like you saw, they solve it. They've not been able to solve it, and a lot of mysterious things going on.